Because why? Because of course, no one is to blame. We all here are imperfect. Yes? And if it is not for you to judge another man, and anything you can blame a man for, you can thank him for. Yes? If you're gonna blame a man for something, then you might as well thank him for the very contrast of it. Not even the gun is your enemy. Not war itself. Not love of money. Not hate. Not power. Not control. Is even your enemy. You're your own enemy. At any time that anything outside of yourself can pose any supposed or would-be threat, would be considered a threat or accepted as a threat. Anytime you accept a position of being that is not in complete harmony, you're your own enemy. Because when it comes down to it, there's something that can be done. There's always the best thing to do about whatever is improper. Now, we can deflect, we can delay, we can postpone, we can procrastinate. But that's what it is your enemy. As to why the bombs haven't been defused. As to why there's not any curriculum in place, why there aren't any supportive and reformating, fucking hierarchies drafted and implemented so as to dissolve whatever sort of corruption has resulted from whatever was before you. That was before you. Anything after you is your fault, not nobody else's fault. Because why? Because of course, no one is to blame. We all here are imperfect. Yes? And if it is not for you to judge another man, and anything you can blame a man for, you can thank him for. Yes? If you're gonna blame a man for something, then you might as well thank him for the very contrast of it. Like say for instance, you wanna blame me for taking your money, you might as well thank me for not taking your money.
Okay, maybe that's a bad example.
At the same time, yes, no. So if you're gonna make it to where it is in the hands of another person, anything that is going on, which all things are natural, and the fact that it is even possible is somebody else's enabling. Regardless of whatever choice a person, just like you being a person, would make.
Wow, nobody's perfect, right? That means that we all have strength and weakness. No one's better than the next person. More right, nor more wrong. You must hate the sin and not the sinner. And in hating the sin, it automatically will bring us together to protect each other from our own self. In union, at least practically. I mean, it shouldn't be any reason for anything too extreme to get it to come into play at that point.
The fact that it's possible is nature, God's law, nature's law. Yes, there's nothing that can happen that Allah doesn't allow. It's called G.A. Niyeme. Okay, that's the Adinkra term for it, meaning by God's permission. Nothing happens outside of the will of divine law. Inshallah is what we say. So as our Creator wills it, mashallah, as Allah so pleases. Yes? So we are in the best position we can be in at all moments. You know, don't get me wrong, like, yes, it's bad as long as it's always gonna be as bad as long as you focus on just how bad it is. It's less bad in that you realize how bad it was. Now you can focus on either accepting it or changing it. If you accept that there's nothing you can do about it, then be at peace with that. And there's nothing bad about that. except for you're longing for something different than that you're not changing. Is all that would be bad. You know, now that happens. That is a bad thing. That has propensity of negative connotation, or less than ideal or preferred. That's all a matter of time. That's all a matter of your own willpower, though. No matter what it is, you can be in prison. You can be you know what I mean? You could be kidnapped. You can be a straight hostage in your own community. For the most part, that's what's happening, right? That's what's happening everywhere. That's what's been happening since captivity. Yes, since civilization itself is captivity in itself. Okay? If we not serving the land, if you ain't learning how to live off the land, if you don't have your own amount of land, cuz, then you in captivity, cuz. To those that own the land that you, of course, are living on and eat from. We are. This is the facts, yo. This is the widespread overhead, wide angle synopsis situation. Okay, so no other person is your enemy. There's only one race, that's the human race, for one. Secondly, anything that has happened that has led to whatever differences and contention or animosities or disagreements or adversary, that has a trackable fucking onset as well. That has a trackable onset as well as fucking inception as well, as to where it began and how it began. Where and how to the what will lead you to the why, and the why will lead you to the who. Okay, because it can look like someone is your enemy, but you're your own enemy if you're susceptible to anything that is not in alignment with your heart's desire, right? That could be your heart itself. If your heart is not conditioned, if you're not conditioning your heart, if you're not disciplining your heart, if you're not strengthening your heart properly, your own heart can be what is out of alignment with your heart's desire, guys. Right? Because you have already a designated and determined destiny. You have 3 destinies, right? There's one that is basically the seed of the glue of all of them. And that's the one that does not change no matter what happens, no matter what you do, no matter how much you change, no how much reversal of your karma you change, no matter how much praying, sacrificing you do. You agreed to this before you were incarnated on this earth. This is what our ancestors tell us. This is what our ancestors, before any book was ever written, was saying to each other and telling our children, telling their children, which are our grandparents, before there was any written anything. This is the factual account, okay? Come down the line of any person that exists as a being whatsoever, a thinking being whatsoever. Now, whatever was before that, you got to get to that before you get there, right? And that's the situation. That's the issue, right? There's no enemy outside of your own weakness. There's no enemy outside of my own weakness. I'm not gonna blame another person. Do I get upset? Well, I get upset. Nah, it may just seem that way. I'm passionate. You have no idea of the capacity, nigga, of my power, nigga. Of your own power, cuz. Don't trip off a reaction, cuz. Don't get locked in emotional fucking context, my nigga. You dig what I mean? I'll say some shit not for whatever sorts of concentration and charge of energy from my suppressing it, as far as just the sound of it, cuz. Have you ever heard of spontaneous combustion, cuz? That's a person's own will unharnessed, surprising them to where they fucking combust into flames, my nigga. Engulf themselves in the very charge of their own energy, the very immensity of their own energy, my nigga. And you tripping off of a facial expression? And you tripping off of a person's frustration? Yeah, no, as far as frustration goes, have you ever heard of spontaneous combustion? Do you feel like this is not a real thing? This does not exist? Well, it exists, my nigga. That's one example of how you can draw energy, right? And how you can, you know what I'm saying? How you can collect focus, right? So as far as you being your own enemy, if we are not even associated, if we're not even acquainted with the different parts, the different structures, identities, the different signatures, okay? The different signatures of the design that is our conscious and unconscious mind, then we're working against ourselves. We're working against the very realization of becoming. We're working against the becoming of realization and awakening. Okay? Now we're seeking to submit to this at that point. We're seeking to succumb. We're seeking to suppress the propensity and potential by focusing on anything, by focusing on a percentage, by allowing ourselves any moment longer than to realize that we are focusing on anything that is not newly powerful, beyond any sorts of physical threat. Okay? You good, you straight, you safe. Now focus on what is not even related to any sort of safe or unsafe. Now, while we safe, because soon, which is close to what is the situation, there will be no safety, my nigga. Even physically, we still not spiritually safe. We still not emotionally, mentally safe out here, yo. Anytime you can't even be yourself without having to defend your identity, they fucking questioning kids about their sexual orientation, nigga, in 2nd grade, nigga. Type of shit is that? That's an attack on your very mentality, cuz. To where now you're not even thinking of that. You won't even have the idea to inner search, cuz. You outer searching too, nigga. You already been clamped onto. You already been labeled and stamped as a fucking term outside of your own name. To the very core, to the very essence of your even fucking gender. When there's only man and woman, nigga, that's it. What else is there? Nigga, there ain't shit else but man and woman on earth, cuz. Even animals is only 2 genders, cuz. The fuck? We less than animals. That's not advanced, nigga. That's a deformation, cuz. That's mutation, cuz. You don't see animals walking around fucking dressing up like, nigga, you know what I'm saying? Okay, a leopard, right? Okay, like, say for instance, a peacock, right, is the only colored peacock. Any other peacock you're gonna see, or a male peacock is the white peacock, yes? Right?
Wrong. It's actually the other way around.
You don't see no fucking male peacock trying to have colors and shit? Nigga, it's the male. He chilling. He over here. I'm the white peacock. You know what I mean? She got the colors, okay?
He would actually have the colors, actually.
You can't be both. You know what I mean? You are what you are, and that's only the beginning of what all that you are to become, though. But you start with your part. You start with your part. Okay? You match it with her part or his part. Right? And you then, what is called advance, you feel me? You extend from there, not from other You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's like, and that's just another sort of setting of how we're turned against ourselves, right? As our own enemies. We're our own worst enemy, you know, but best ally to where now you know yourself better than anyone else. You know all of your own weaknesses because you're the ones to say what those weaknesses are, right? As far as, but you have to realize that that's something you have to learn about yourself through actually pursuing what it is that you truly are interested in, that you truly gravitate towards, that really makes you who you are. You know what I mean? Whatever those activities are, whatever that interest is, you must explore it, right? From all angles that you encounter that come into your circumference. So as to say, well, I would have wanted to do this, but my own nature prevented me. You feel me? My own mentality, my own habits, my own expectations, my own fucking corrupted style of activities prevented from me from even experiencing what I had the opportunity to explore. That's something to change about myself, to be more of who it is that I'm able to see now without all of these extra deflections that I actually am, right? Or I'm not, or I thought that I would want to be if I had the chance. I've made it to, I've worked, I've disciplined, I've fucking sacrificed to where the chance was granted to me. I earned the chance. I discovered and uncovered the chance to do what I would have thought that I would have liked to do, whether that took money, whether that took movement, whether that took whatever it took. Hopefully they don't take you cross-dressing. I guarantee you, nigga, you gonna see what all about it that you like and why, and you be able to track that back to who at that point, right? Through the how and the when, you get to the who by the why. Yes? When were you able to finally do what you wanted to do? How did you end up doing it? Did you do it halfway or did you do it wholly? Right? Who saw you? Right? Do you know what I'm saying? Who did you share the experience with? Who were you trying to be like when you did it? Because if you're not yourself, then who is it that you're trying to be? The other you that you don't really know? Who are you now that you've done it? You know what I'm saying? Do you like that? Okay, well shit, what do you like about it? Explore that to see how much you like it, how much you don't like it. Even though you may like it, you might just like it more than what you are used to liking as much as you can like, right? But hey, what don't you like about it, right? And why do you like it? Okay? Why do you like it? How much or do you like it or how much you don't like it? Okay? And if you can answer them questions, then I guarantee you a bunch of other options of activities will come into your mentality, come into your spirit, come into your emotional makeup. You know what I mean? You would then now be defining the ally in yourself that is your enemy, and the enemy in yourself that is your ally. You can see it from both sides, right? Because how you your worst enemy, how are you your own enemy when you lose, you win. For you to win, you gotta beat yourself, so you're losing. For you to lose, you gotta lose to yourself, so you're winning. So it's all in how you look at it. How are you allowing yourself to be then now manipulated by the larger spectrum, which is the larger spectrum is all of us together in one accord, whether it is against each other in one accord or in each other's favor in one accord, right? Now that weakness is that weakness, right? Now, however strong your weakness is, your weaknesses may be weak, your weaknesses may be strong. If your weaknesses are stronger, then of course the shadow opposite mentality, shadow opposite identity of then another particular person draws on that energy against them on their own self, right? But we are all one to begin with. So any activity we're taking against ourselves, any thought process or mind state we're entertaining outside of growing and feeding our desire, feeding our spirit individually and personally, now spreads into the full matrix, the full fucking luminous energy field that is thought, that is life, that is fucking consciousness. Overallly, down to the very fucking pinpointed exhibitions and emergences that is decisions made and activities pursued. You feel me? Because you either half-stepping or you whole-stepping. You feel me? You can only do something new that you know that you end up loving, so, even so potently, because you're learning it as you're doing it for the first time, right? Now this is you. Now you figured out what it is that you can do. You learned it. You came across it some type of way. Usually it's a miracle. Usually some type of miraculous, beautiful ass, unexpected, random act that shows you who you truly are. You can, a lot of times, you're not even trying to find out, or you're not even looking in that direction, and it catches you off guard, right? Because really, yourself finds you as you find yourself. Yes, because there's a higher you as well, right? There's a higher you, right? That you that chose to incarnate is knowing. It's kind of like watching your every step. You ever feel like you're outside of yourself in a way, watching yourself? You are. From behind a veil, not necessarily even a veil, but just, you know what I mean? Like a static point, like basically like an avatar, basically. You're your own avatar here on this fucking incarnated material place. You don't believe it? Well, shit, you gonna see. But why wait till then when you can feel it? Ain't no way you don't feel it, because that's the situation. So what does it mean? That means that this simulation, this fucking presentation, this experience is at your whim, is at your helm, right? You're now guiding yourself through whatever's possible, and the map don't even become available until you explore particular fucking skills in that environment, right? Just like you playing Zelda or some shit, or you playing Assassin's Creed or what's another game, God of War. If you pick a particular weapon, you only going to then gain experience points as you use this particular weapon. But if you don't have no other weapon, or not that you don't have one, but you use this weapon more, you're going to be stronger in this particular form of experience. And that's kind of like life in this environment, and this experience that is life in this material realm, as you being the player, right? And your avatar being the character in the game, right? That's, you know what I mean? That's what it is. And your buttons are always the same, but they do different things based on what it is you choose to do the first time with those buttons. Different thing, right? A means strike. You press A twice, you strike, and then slide, right? But you can slide without pressing A twice. You can slide by pressing X, right? But you can only slide, right? And if you at a cliff and you press X, you're gonna jump instead of slide. It all depends on you walking with the fucking directional pad, nigga, to that cliff, nigga. You dig? And once you in the air, you press A, that make you glide now, right? But that's the same button that if you was on ground in this particular map environment, that will make you punch a nigga, right? Now, then you got these people that's not even part of the game, that's not even necessarily your enemies, or not even your opponents in the game. They're just there. They're just like, well, they're background, so you can't even hit them. While you can smack something that will actually build your strength in the game, there's also background fucking characters that come talk to you and give you information in the game that you cannot even interact with. They're just there as part of the where you then took yourself in the game. Like say for instance, you don't even go to this particular part of the map. You ain't even gonna never see this particular sort of background type of person, right? But the actual, and you know what I mean, the actual like activity, the actual fucking functions that you do in the game is always gonna be the same. Like whatever type of ninjas is coming at you, they the same no matter where you go. Not necessarily the same, but the same style, they're the same sort of nature, no matter where you go in the game. But different areas of the fucking environment will give you different background though, you know, and it's all also not necessarily interactive, but it's at least, you know, not experience it. Yeah, you can experience that. But as far as interacting with it, the actual interaction is going to be of a nature that is going to train you. That is going to bring you skills and whatever form of exercise that it is that you're pursuing as an option in this game, whatever the game is, whatever type of game it is, whether it's a fighting game, it's a strategy game, it's a mix. That is what you're building in this particular experience. Okay? And you're not gonna learn how to have a conversation with a background nigga and you're supposed to be fighting in the game, right? And that's the whole thing. Like, nigga, you swinging that background. You're supposed to be learning how to evade. You're supposed to be learning how to, you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be trained. You're supposed to be mastering this weapon or whatever that you didn't chose, right? You using the weapon you chose the least and shit against the background and shit. Right? And we're supposed to be interacting with the different elements of the actual plot of the game. Right? Not experiencing the background. Right? And so what am I saying? I'm saying you were born where you were born and when you were born for a reason, which is the why. Yes? Right? Now that why is going to bring you to the who, the real who, not the fake who, like, oh, just for you to experience, but for you to interact with in your life. Okay? Now, you can be your own enemy and don't follow the time constraints or the fucking structure of the actual steps to the accomplishment of this particular goal of this part of the game, right? You can be your own enemy and fucking hit yourself in the game. You can hurt yourself. You feel me? You know what I mean? You know, you can actually hurt yourself in the game or whatever it is. You can take your own weapon, blow. You know what I mean? You can set a bomb up and blow yourself up in the fucking game, nigga. You can do that also in life, right? You can use your strengths against yourself to where now your strength is your weakness because you're using your skills, your techniques, your qualities, your strengths, your strong points against yourself, right? And that is your strong points is your talents, right? Those are your talents, the gifts that you were given in your life. Is your weapons or your tools, right? Now, the villains are the villains. The villains are you too, really low key, and that's what I'm really saying. That's also what I started to say, right? The villains is all part of the same, not experience, but interaction, the same plot, the same game plan or whatever, right? Towards your mastering the strategy of this game, you know, getting the prize at the end of the game, which is the experience of playing the game. Right? And that's why you play the game over, right? Life is these are the days of your life. These are the days of your life. These are the years that turn into the years of your life. These are you feel me? The choices you're making. I'm not talking about life being one big game. Every day is another game. It's the same game though. Right? It's different places you can go in this game. It's a wide map that if you don't never go explore, you can still have fun playing the game in your little corner. Trust me. You know what I mean? If you find something you like to do, then they might have billiards in the game. Say for instance, Grand Theft Auto, you might be playing darts. You might go to the shooting range. You might not like to do nothing else, but it's a story plot to the game, my nigga. And it changes and it evolves based on where you go first and what you do first. Some things become possible and an option, and some things now are not an option no more based on what you did in the game. And what other characters in this game you interact with. Now you open up different parts of a map now too. So now your days are now different now. You're doing different things every day now, so to speak, right? As to when before you actually interacted, or however it is you interacted, you were spending your days whatever other type of way. In this particular environment of this experience that is the game, that is life. Right? But you play the game, but you want to be actually fucking learning the game so that you can enjoy it even that much more every time you play the game. Fucking learning the game. Enjoy it even that much more. Right? You dig what I'm saying? Like you want to be able to teach yourself new techniques, right? That's not in the manual of the game. You remember Street Fighter? Nigga, you would unlock fucking moves that you couldn't even study to learn. You feel me? Sequences and combos, my nigga, that are not in that manual, bro. It's gonna take you mastering the most complex sort of sequence styles of moves, right? So as to string together and combine together to make a new move. And even combining it will make it to where now you unlock a way to do a crazy move that's not even in the manual without even having to sequence the joints together, to couple the other joints together. You just do it hella quick. You know what I mean? AA, punch, kick. Then you do it for some crazy type of fucking kinetic energy type shit, whatever it is. But it take you not playing a game just to play the game or just to beat somebody, but actually to learn the structure, you know what I mean? The actual capacity of your character, your avatar, you know? And you know who you are even before you start. Just like before you are born, you already choose when and where you're born, right? Because you're coming from a place without time. They talk about past lives, you know? That's because there's no time where we come from. And so whatever is brought back there and leaves from there is already all there anyway. And you bring in parts of that with you that you can that has that signature on it, you know? But you just gotta follow through. You gotta continue. You gotta expand and extend. You gotta advance. You know what I mean? To advance is different from just extending. Right? You can sit on a fucking game. You got your game on all day. Niggas should be standing in one place. But you're not advancing. And your experience points. The game's still on though. You cut that shit off if you ain't gonna play that shit. You know what I mean? You can always cut it back on whenever it is. You know what I mean? You can cut it right back on after you get done whatever else you're doing. You did, but it's like you wasting electricity. You know what I'm saying? It's like it don't matter because it's a game, and you can wind down the clock all you want because it's not like you're gonna run out of life if you run out of time or whatever on this game. But you ain't finna do that in the middle of no mission that you on. You feel me? So it's like the game is for missions. It's not for it's not for the background, my nigga, between the missions, girl.